Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about simplifying rational expressions. Essentially, your rational expressions are like fractions with variables involved. So for my first one, they've already have everything factored for me. And really when we're doing this, we're just going to factor out anything, or excuse me, cancel out anything that's on the top and the bottom. So the first thing I notice is that on the top you have x plus 3, and you also have that on the bottom. So those two match. So we can go ahead and cancel those out. I also notice I have x plus 2 on the bottom, x plus 2 on the top, so those ones cancel out as well. Now at that point, we are left with 6 divided by 2, x minus 1, and x minus 4. So let's go ahead and add x minus 1 and x minus 4. Now notice we have our numbers out front, 6 divided by 2. The one thing I have to check for still is the greatest common factor. So is there something I can divide both the top and the bottom by? Well, I know I can divide 6 by 2. I know I can divide 2 by 2. So if I do that, 6 divided by 2 is 3, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Remember, that's just the same as 3. So that means I'm going to have a 3 on top. Technically, there's a sneaky little 1 on the bottom, but you don't actually have to write it. You could just write it like that. For the bottom, you don't have to include the parentheses, so you could write this as 3 times x minus 1, all divided by x minus 4, and that would be your final answer. All right, for the second one, they've already factored the bottom for us, but the top isn't factored. So when we're factoring these, we're going to look for one of two things, either a GCF, a greatest common factor, or we're going to look for using the x method. Well, I know I have 5x minus 10. That only has two parts, so we're not going to use the x method. So I'm going to say, what's my greatest common factor? So what can I divide 5x by? What can I divide 10 by? Well, I know I can divide 5 by 5. I can divide 10 by 5. So that means my GCF is going to be 5. I'm going to put that up on top for now. If I factor out 5x divided by 5 just gives me x. Negative 10 divided by 5 gives me negative 2. So on top we have 5 times x minus 2. We didn't factor anything out of the bottom, so that's going to stay the same. We have 10x minus 2, x plus 3. Again, at this point, we're looking for things that match, so we can cancel them out. So x minus 2 is on top, x minus 2 is on the bottom. Those are the same, so they cancel out. Really, when you're dividing, you get 1. That's why they cancel. And then the last part is you have to simplify your numbers out front. So I have 5 over 10. I know I can divide 5 by 5. I know I can divide 10 by 5. When I do that, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1, 10 divided by 5 gives me 2. So that means my final fraction should have a 1/2. And then there's nothing else on the top because we canceled out my x minus 2. So 1's going to be up there all by itself. On the bottom, we have 2, and then we have x plus 3. Again, remember we got 2 because we divided that 10 by 5. So my final answer would be 1 over 2 times x plus 3. All right, for my third one, the top is already factored for me. So they have 2 times x minus 6. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. And then the bottom, we have x squared plus 5x minus 6. Notice there's a 1 in front of your x squared, which means I can use the x method. Remember, when I set that up, we put our b value, which is the second one, on the bottom, and our c value, the last one, on the top. We're looking for something that multiplies to negative 6 and adds to 5. All right, so I know that to get negative 6, I can do 6 times 1. And then because I want it to multiply to negative 6, one of those is going to have to be negative. And I want to get 5. So if I do 6 minus 1, that would equal 5. So my factors on the bottom are going to be x plus 6 and x minus 1. In this case, notice that we have an x plus 6 on the bottom, an x minus 6 on top. Those can't actually cancel because one has a minus and one has a plus. So my final answer for this one would be 2 times x minus 6 divided by x plus 6 times x minus 1. Nothing canceled. We're good to go. All right, and my last one. Let's start with our fraction on top. we have 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. Now, for these, you're only going to use the X method or GCF or both. So the first thing I'm going to look for, especially if I have three things and I have a number in front of x squared, is the greatest common factor. So what's the biggest number I can divide 2x squared, 6x, and 4 by? Well, I know they can all be divisible by 2, so I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. When I do that, 2 is going to go out front. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 6x divided by 2 is 3x, and then 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. Now I'm not quite done yet because now we have x squared plus 3x plus 2. I need to check and see if I can use the x method on that. When I'm doing that, remember my c value goes on top and my b value goes on bottom. So we're looking for something that multiplies to 2 and adds to 3. I know that I can do 2 times 1, and 2 plus 1 gives me 3. So right now, my two factors are going to be x plus 2 and x plus 1. Don't forget that 2 has to come down too. So this is going to replace what I originally circled in blue, and it's going to go up here. So we're going to have 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 1. All right, we have to do the same thing with our bottom thing. So we have 4x squared. Sorry, I'm going to give myself a little more room. 4x squared plus 4x minus 8. Again, because there's a number in front of my x squared, I'm going to start by looking for a GCF. So we have 4x squared plus 4x minus 8. I know all of those numbers out front are divisible by 4. So 4 is going to be my GCF. 4x squared divided by 4 just gives me x squared. 4x divided by 4 just gives me x. And then negative 8 divided by 4 gives me a negative 2. Again, from here I have to check the x method for that second part of my fraction. Remember, my c value goes on top, so negative 2. My b value, which is going to be 1, there's a sneaky little 1 there, goes on the bottom. So I'm looking for something that multiplies to negative 2 and adds to 1. Well, I know to get 2, I can do 2 times 1. And then one of those has to be negative. So to get a positive 1, I'd have to do 2 minus 1. So that means my two factors are x plus 2 and x minus 1. Again, that 4 has to come down. So my denominator is really going to be 4 times x plus 2 times x minus 1. Again, we're going to cancel out anything that's on the top and the bottom. Right now, I notice that we have x plus 2 and x plus 2, so those can go away because they're the same. And then I also notice we have 2 and 4, so I need to simplify that little fraction. Let's do that in orange. So we have 2 over 4. I know I can divide those both by 2. And when I do that, that gives me 1 over 2. So that means on top I would have a 1, on the bottom I would have a 2, and then whatever was left over. So I see an x plus 1, and I see an x minus 1. Now remember, you don't have to write that 1 in front of x plus 1. So if you want, that one can go away. You also then don't need your parentheses since there's not another number up there. So my final answer would be x plus 1 divided by 2 times x minus 1. All right, thank you for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher.